It's been a short while since Inside Out 2 was released and became a huge success. But did you know there are already several things we know will appear in the franchise's third film? First, boyfriend. Pixar doesn't do anything by chance, and surely they've spent these first two films preparing us for the big moment when Riley finally falls in love for the first time. This is evident from moments in the first two films where we see the emotions owner showing signs of wanting a boyfriend very soon. First, we saw the imaginary boyfriend machine she has in her subconscious. Then, she had that intense eye contact with Jordan at her first hockey game in San Francisco, which eventually led to her first date, which got a short film just to show how it went. And now, in the second film, we had Mount Crushmore, where all the boys Riley ever had a crush on appear, like Jordan and Lance, who is a video game character but was also on the list.
But he's a video game character. Why is he here?
Yeah, I always thought Riley had a secret crush on him.
I never saw the appeal.
So it's obvious that we will definitely meet Riley's first love in Inside Out 3, remembering that in the next film, she'll be around 15 to 16 years old, which is really the age when serious relationships start happening. In fact, many of us, myself included, thought this would happen in Inside Out 2 already. But even without this more romantic side, the film was simply amazing. Who knows, maybe we'll see not just one boy, but perhaps two, competing for Riley's heart. That would be incredible. But this is just the first of the 9 things that will definitely happen in Inside Out 3 that you need to know. Sadness and embarrassment. And it seems it's not just Riley and her friends who will find a boyfriend in the next Inside Out film, because it's clear that even the emotions have this desire among them, as we saw when Sadness first saw embarrassment. Throughout the film, we saw several moments where the big pink guy also felt something for the little blue girl, so much so that he helps her hide from anxiety and others, and assists her in other moments. Moreover, Pixar has released short clips where we see just these two emotions interacting, much closer than in the film. This is surely a prelude to seeing a beautiful relationship blossom between the two lovebirds. And who knows, maybe this happens at the same time Riley finds her match too. That would be really cool. Origin of emotions. In a recent interview, the voice actresses of Joy and Anxiety shared their opinions on things they believe will happen in Riley's third film and her emotions, and both commented that discovering and seeing the place where emotions live before they appear in the films would definitely be something really cool. Of course, the two voice actresses have much more privileged information than any of us, so we can say this is practically a preview announcement of where emotions come from and where they are before they reach headquarters. Surely this will be something shown in Inside Out 3. It certainly makes a lot of sense, since unlike Joy, who simply emerged in the first film, along with Sadness, we're not sure how the other ancient emotions appeared. And in Inside Out 2, it's clear they came from somewhere or were released by someone to go to headquarters, with Anxiety arriving with several suitcases herself. Nostalgia also mentioned how she missed the moment they arrived at the emotion headquarters. Moreover, you can see that all the new emotions already knew each other before they emerged, which means they interacted somewhere else. And it's exactly this place that we will probably get to know in Riley's next film. I really want to know what this place is like. And if you also really want to know where the emotions live before they go to headquarters, comment down below, #mind. A new sibling. When Riley's parents left her and her friends, Bree and Grace, at hockey camp, we saw one of the funniest scenes in the movie unfold. We noticed Riley's father looking at his wife with a mischievous look, showing he had plans for the upcoming days. So, as you might have guessed, the couple probably had their second honeymoon, taking advantage of their daughter being away for a few days. For this reason, it wouldn't be surprising if in Inside Out 3 we see Riley holding a little baby in her arms. But it certainly wouldn't be her child, rather her little younger sibling. And that would be really cool, as we would see something similar to what we saw in the first film, with the protagonist still a baby and her emotions emerging as soon as she saw her parents. What would also be really cool is if this new character would be present in several future Inside Out films, so we wouldn't just have one protagonist, but two in Inside Out and their own emotions. I wouldn't doubt at all that this is Pixar's plan for the future of Inside Out. Don't you think so? More emotions. Of course, with the emergence of new characters, we would have more emotions appearing, each with its own way of being, because we can notice that people's emotions are different from each other. For example, Riley's dad's fear and anger have different behaviors compared to the fear and anger in the girl's mind. But this certainly won't be the only way we'll see new emotions in Inside Out 3. Just as 5 new emotions emerged in this second film, Pixar probably has a plan for even more emotions within our protagonist's mind to emerge as well. And if I were to guess, one of them would surely be the emotion with the German name, Schadenfreude! This is because the mustache emotion almost made its debut twice at Pixar, as it was present in the early test animations of Inside Out in 2015. And its design was also developed to appear in the second film of the franchise released in 2024. Of course, it would be just one of the new emotions, not the only one, as Pixar has a stock of over 20 emotions as options for future Riley films and her mind. Old friendships. One of the coolest things about Inside Out 2 was definitely the new friends we saw the protagonist make. Bree and Grace formed a very cohesive and cheerful trio with Riley, so it's quite likely we'll see both of them reappear in the next film of the franchise. But if you remember well, before moving to San Francisco, Riley had other friends in Minnesota, especially Meg, the redhead with glasses, who was her childhood best friend. And since they could still keep in touch, we imagine it would be a great idea if Pixar brought the girl to visit her best friend in her current city. Then Riley would show her all the city's attractions like the iconic Golden Gate Bridge and many other tourist spots the city has. Riley's friend could even help her make the best decision about which suitor to choose to date in Inside Out 3, like any good friend would. And as good friends, we want to ask you, are you subscribed to our channel? If not yet, click below and subscribe right now! Pets. In this second film of the franchise, we saw that Riley has a very nice relationship with animals, as we see her feeding stray cats. This means the girl has a natural knack for getting along with animals, don't you think? So imagine if one of these kittens ends up following Riley home and she feels so sorry for the little animal, especially if it's raining. So she decides to hide the feline from her parents and secretly raise it. That way, she officially has a pet to call her own and has to juggle school lessons while taking care of her newest friend. And at that moment, Riley's emotions would definitely help her make the best decisions, and some funny ones too. Nostalgia. Many people tend to forget, but in Inside Out 2, there weren't just 4 new emotions, but 5. This is because, among the 5 new characters, the emotion that appears and participates the least in the film is nostalgia, represented by that harmless old lady holding a teacup and wearing large pink-tinted glasses. In fact, even in the final moments of the film, when Riley was having a panic crisis caused by anxiety's frenzied action, we see all the new and old emotions gathered to try to remove the sense of self that the orange emotion had put in the girl's mind. But we don't see nostalgia in that moment. She only appears again right at the end, when everything is already resolved. Honestly, nostalgia is one of the emotions that becomes increasingly important as we grow older, so she has a good chance of becoming more prominent in future Inside Out films, including the 3rd film in the series, Procrastination Land. According to the director of Riley's second film and her emotions, Kelsey Mann, many things they wanted to include in the film ended up being left out for various reasons. One of the things that disappointed him the most was one of the most well-crafted locations in the girl's mind that couldn't make it, Procrastination Land. The place is rich in very funny details and feature signs, like forever under construction and things like that. The director said he hoped the location would appear at some point, even if it was in the post-credit scenes. And since we saw that didn't happen, we should imagine that it will happen at some point in the future. That's why it's practically certain we'll see it in Inside Out 3. So, we just need to wait to see the next adventures of the emotions passing through Procrastination Land for sure. Another thing that will definitely happen is that you'll continue having a lot of fun with us here on the channel if you click any of these videos that are popping up on the screen for you. We've selected them because we think you might really enjoy one, or maybe both. Just choose and click. See you again in the next video, alright?